What is up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. I'll just be honest up front. I've been getting hundreds of messages over the last few days and everyone wants to know what the inside scoop is. And I'm here to hopefully give you as much info as possible. You've been seeing all these internal memos leaked out on the forums about companies pausing classes, about canceling classes for the remainder of the year, about stopping hiring, and even furloughing, which is a devastating F word to hear. So let's dive right into it. I know you guys come to me for advice and I'll give you as much as I possibly can. If you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below. Smash the thumbs up button if you're in flight training so if I can see if you guys are relating to this video. I know tons of people have been in my DMs asking about this, so instead of trying to respond to hundreds and hundreds of you, I figured I would just make a video kind of giving an update of the state of the airlines. So let's get right into it. So yes, it is true, most airlines are canceling classes for the remainder of the year, and I must preface that me and my airline have no correlation together whatsoever. My personal opinion is my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with the airline. I'm just speaking about companies in general and kind of what's been released out into the public. So I will say that the biggest F word that's going on, the furlough word, it has been announced with one airline, and I believe that was Mesa Airlines. But I'll talk about kind of airlines in a general aspect and why this is taking place, why classes are being paused, and why CJOs, conditional job offers, are no longer being offered at a lot of companies. The biggest reason why you're seeing it at the major airlines is strictly because aircrafts are not getting delivered on time. I know a lot of people think that the travel industry is slowing down, which it's actually the opposite. We're seeing numbers that we've never seen in history. TSA is constantly pumping out numbers that are just highest year over year, month over month. And that's a great thing for the airlines. That means more profitability, more revenues coming in. It's an overall good thing for the industry. However, all these hirings, all these class dates that were originally set are getting postponed because airplanes aren't coming onto properties when they were originally suspected to. Boeing, the 737 MAX, with the issues that you guys have seen in the news, the MAX 10 obviously has been postponed. The MAXs in general over the last few years, ever since the two horrific crashes, have caused postpones because the FAA needs to investigate more. And just Boeing in general, the investigations that are going on, obviously in the assembly line with quality control, these are all things that are going to slow down aircraft deliveries, and inevitable that's going to delay classes and not require as many pilots to staff these airplanes because there aren't airplanes to staff. So you have the 737 MAX, you also have the 787 Dreamliner, which has had its issues between the batteries and just overall testing, the FAA certs. It's been chaotic. So the 787 Dreamliner has been delayed at numerous airlines as well. So you have the MAX, the 787, and then on the Airbus side of things, the Airbus 321 XLR, which is supposed to be a phenomenal airplane, is substantially delayed as well. So these airplanes alone are causing massive disruptions in the industry. In my personal opinion, another factor of why they weren't sure if we should hire a lot, if we should slow down hiring, was the fact that the age 67 was up for vote. If you guys aren't familiar, here in the United States, at age 65, all airline pilots must retire. And there was talks that the age 65 would be extended to 67, therefore meaning we wouldn't need as many pilots coming in because there wouldn't be as many pilots retiring. So our attrition rate wouldn't be as high, so therefore we wouldn't have to fill from the bottom. Now, I have had some friends that have personally been given conditional job offers at some regionals, and lately I know you guys have seen this memo out on the forums if you're staying up to date with everything, but some of these conditional job offers have actually been rescinded. And I know that can be a really devastating blow, and it's never fun to see that you've gotten your dream job or you're on your stepping stone away for the regionals, then to get to the majors. I understand that this can be devastating, but I want you to keep your eye on the ball. You know what's coming, and the industry always has ebbs and flows. It has such high highs, such low lows. And for me personally, I can't speak to the real lows because I've been insanely fortunate so far in my short time at the airlines that I haven't had to really deal with anything chaotic other than the big pandemic, which for me, it didn't affect me as much because yes, I was given a conditional job offer at an airline and I didn't get hired until over a year later. So it was kind of a weird situation that can kind of, I guess, run parallel with what's going on right now. But the good thing about that situation and this one as well is that if I did get a conditional job offer just like you did, no one's getting hired at all. So there aren't more people that are jumping in front of you in the seniority list, which, as you guys have heard me talk about in almost every single sit down video, where seniority is everything. So keep that in mind. If you were given a conditional job offer or you were get hired and they rescinded the conditional job offer, that doesn't mean they don't want you in the future. That just means that they don't have the space for you to go get drug tests, fingerprinting, because a lot of this stuff expires after X amount of time and they're not really sure when they're gonna flip the switch on and hire again. So therefore, it's just better to rescind that conditional job offer. And most likely, if you were good enough to be hired at once, you'll be good enough to be hired yet again. So I want you to keep that in mind whenever you unfortunately get that devastating blow where they do rescind something like that. Keep your eye on the ball and things will get better with time, because I promise you, you never know when they can just hit that switch and start just hiring an influx. It'll be unbelievable when those floodgates open and then thousands of people will start getting hired every single year. It'll be a phenomenal thing for your career, but I want to go over some pointers and some tips and tricks for you guys to look better on your resume and be prepared for that future whenever that switch does come on. So some things I want you guys to work on while we're kind of in this limbo phase of not knowing when the hiring is going to begin, if it is going to begin this year. As of right now, most airlines have postponed all the way until the end of 2024. So that gives you about 6 months to really build your resume up for whenever companies do start hiring again, do start interviewing again. You want to have your resume as good as it possibly can be. And let me give you some tips right now of things that you can stand out in the crowd. One is the most simplistic thing, and that's just keep flying. If you already applied to a lot of these companies, make sure you're continuously updating your resume. You want to keep updating with your hours to show that you're staying proficient on top of flying and you're remaining active, because they don't want to see somebody that has just completely paused flying. I know it can be very expensive, but if you can just get up in an airplane once or twice a month, and especially if you're a flight instructor, just keep flying. I know it's probably your only source of income, but so you definitely need to keep flying. But if you're still just applying to airlines and you've built your flight time and you're kind of on cruise control, definitely keep updating your resume. I promise it's one thing that they like to see is that you're remaining proficient and you're remaining active. You're keeping your skills sharp, and especially whenever it comes time to actually interview, you want to be on top of things. You don't want to get rusty, and you just want to keep your knowledge sharp. So on top of keeping your flight time up to date and staying active, so that way they see that you're still very much interested in that company and keeping your resume updated, I want you to also continuously building your resume. Get involved in the community. There's some great things out there, especially in the aviation realm, where you can do some charity work like angel flights. I think angel flights are an amazing thing. It's absolutely beautiful if you can get involved in that sense. Something that I did personally was called Pilots and Paws. There's a bunch of different programs out there. I think Pilots to the Rescue is phenomenal. Pilots and Paws is great. If you guys like animals and you like dogs, this is a great way to get involved, to do charity work, get involved with your flight school. That was something that I did at the flight school that I worked at. And this was like probably the most proud thing I've done in my career is I got my flight school involved in this thing called Pilots and Paws, where you essentially go and rescue animals from kill shelters or shelters that are just at maximum capacity that can't take any more dogs, and you relocate them to either foster homes or other shelters that can take care of the high capacity of dogs. So something like that, anything that you can do to be involved in the community and just be more of a standout person is definitely going to look better, because as time goes on and we have this kind of 6-month limbo phase, people are going to be building their flight time. Their resumes are going to get better. So what are you going to do to make your resume as good as possible? I know the majority of you are probably flight instructors that are watching this video because this is most applicable to you. I know some people that are beginning flight training, things can change overnight. You never know what's going to happen in this industry. You absolutely don't know. So if you're at the beginning of your flight training, stay motivated, keep your head down, keep focused. You got plenty of time until you're applying to the airlines. Although I want you to keep building your flight time as quick as possible. Get to your ratings as soon as possible, because you never know when those floodgates are going to open back up. And like I've said, time after time after time, seniority is everything. So just because you're working on your instrument right now and CFRs aren't getting hired, I don't want you to think that you can just let off the gas, because I promise you, by the time you get to your CFI, things are going to be in a completely different place, and we're going to be hiring like crazy, or you never know. Things can change overnight. So if you're working on your ratings right now, keep going, keep your head down, keep focused, keep your eye on the prize. It's all going to be worth it in the end. I promise you that. And if you're a CFI, let's say you're just a CFI and you're approaching your 1,500 hours, you thought you were getting ready to leave, and I know it's devastating, because trust me, I was a flight instructor before. There's only so many turns around of points and S-turns and steep turns that you want to do every single day, day after day. I get that. But maybe to switch things up, if you're just a CFI, maybe work and get your double I. It's not much more, and going from a CFI to a double I is pretty easy. In fact, that was probably the easiest rating I got, was just adding my instrument onto my CFI. I think that's a great way to continuously build your resume, switch things up a little bit while you might be in this transitional phase. Or if you want to, get your MEI. Ask your flight school if it's something that, if you know you're going to be at the flight school for another 6 months, go and talk to your chief. Say, hey, can I get my MEI sponsored by the flight school, and I'll sign another 4-month contract. I'll work here for another 4 months. Do you guys maybe mind paying for my MEI? I'd love for this to be a mutual beneficial thing. You'll have another multi-engine instructor, and I would love to get my MEI as well. And that way it's kind of a win-win for the flight school and for you, because you're not going to bail out right away as soon as you get your MEI. It enables you to do something different, most likely get paid a little more, because with a multi-engine rating, you're more of a higher caliber, or you have more certificates, so that way they might pay you more hourly, and also you can build your multi-engine time. So these are just a few things that I suggest. Also, maybe find some gigs on the side. Maybe go sit in the right seat of a jet if you can find that somewhere. There's always small little things that you can find. I remember something cool that I did when I was a flight instructor. I would do anything I ever possibly could to find extra time. And the flight school that I worked for, they had this leaseback company where I would fly and go pick up an airplane and then fly it somewhere else in the US. That was a really cool opportunity. It allows you to get experience in other airplanes, learn about new airspaces, new airports, flying in different environments. And it's just a little switch up from, like I said, maybe doing short fields, takeoffs and landings all day, every day. So just stay motivated. I promise you, things will change. You just never know. I remember when I got hired at my dream airline, and then all of a sudden the pandemic was here. Literally, I was the last interview class going into the pandemic, and they give you a conditional job offer, and you just, then what? I kind of just sat there in limbo for almost a year, not knowing, am I gonna get hired at my dream job? Am I not? Things can change overnight. So stay motivated. I hope this video helped you guys, even in the slightest bit. I know I kind of just ran all over the place, but I just want to just stay motivated, stay focused, build your resume, and I'll see you guys up in the air very soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Peace.